Good morning, Bob.
Morning. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good so far.
There you go.
Oh, you down at NASA?
I am at NASA. Yes. They're going to be privatizing NASA pretty soon. You'll be able to pay and just take a ride up to the moon, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. I did the one in Disney World. That was enough.
That was enough?
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, we switched internet service, and man, I'll tell you, I didn't know how many things in the house ran off Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, you think maybe a couple phones or maybe a laptop, but then you got your Amazon, your Echo, your Ring doorbell, your
AC.
yeah, your AC. Some people have their fridge. My son actually got a new washing machine that has an app that I don't know what he does with it, but he can control the washing machine.
I'm not getting one till it folds clothes.
Yeah. Because I know there's one that will some of them have the camera inside the refrigerator now that you could be at the store and you can access that camera from your phone to see if you're out of milk or cheese or whatever. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, some of it seems to get a little silly.
Yeah.
Well, this should be quick today.
All right, that's famous last words. Let me check to make sure it's on.
No problem.
My streaming. Mr. Brown.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone?
Good morning.
Morning, Aaron.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Pretty good. You still feeling okay?
Yeah. Feel good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I took a COVID-19 test, right?
Yeah.
Came out negative. That was Wednesday of last week. MUSC, it's real easy. You just drive through, and it's a drive through. No waiting or anything.
Yeah.
And I went to MUSC because I wanted a bona fide test. They got a bunch of tests going around that are not reliable.
Yeah, that's where I went.
You went to MUSC?
Yeah, but back then you had to wait in line for about 2 hours.
Yeah, now it's just a drive through. You know where the right there, Jonathan Lucas, right where the Hollins Cancer Center is.
Yep.
There's a building next door. You drive up a ramp.
Oh, okay.
Crossing the parking garage. You just drive up that ramp and they meet you there and tell you to lay your head back and they stick that thing up your nose for 10 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. And they said that the test results would come in 24 to 48 hours. So mine came, I have my chart with MUSC, email system with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent it, I got mine less than 24 hours.
Yeah. When I went, it was at Citadel Mall and the line whined all over that parking lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why I decided to avoid that type of thing and go direct to MUSC.
Yeah.
And then I wanted a credible test too.
Did y'all wear masks in the car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The mask, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, my personal view of the mask, I don't see. I mean, why not? I mean, why not? I mean,
exactly.
You can talk about your life. You do what you want to with your life, but you don't have a right to breathe on me and give it to me. You may be asymptomatic and then I die and I take it home to my family. You got to see the big picture,
Yeah, and I had to tell Kim when we were up there, when she said she had the dirt in her mask when she took it off during the meeting, I
Yeah.
thought of that when I was cleaning my mask, because my mask ended up getting 2 dark stripes in it. And I was like, well, that proves it's working.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's collecting going in or coming out, but it's collecting something.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the
Mary.
anti-mask folks are just have ulterior motives or some other agenda, apparently. But they got a right to do that, I guess, under the Constitution.
Well, I hope the mayor explains that the reason we had to do this is because Kimmel was exposed, and therefore we might all have been exposed. And if so, that could have been a big mess.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying. It's this thing is like a chain reaction. It just keeps going. Yeah. Yeah. So let me grab a cup of coffee and I'll be right back.
Morning, Mary.
She's still connecting, Bob. I don't think she's got the audio quite there yet. Looks like she's close.
Bob, do you read the Post-Courier?
Online, yeah.
All right. There's an interesting article in the papers this morning about the Brownsville community and sports and that sort of thing. Read it. It's interesting.
Cool. I'll check it out.
After you read it, give me a call. I'll give you my take on it.
Okay.
Mary, you got that link up, right? I can't get it on my phone. Mary, you hear me? I don't think Mary has the audio on. No, she doesn't.
Morning, Beth.
Is that Beth?
Yep.
Can you hear me, Beth?
Hang on. I was on mute. Yes, I can hear you.
Good. How you been doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. I'm
Hanging in
okay.
there?
I'm so okay so far.
All right.
So far, so good,
That's right.
How the boys doing?
They're good. Just growing up too fast.
Any of them school age yet?
Yeah, one's in 5th grade and one's in kindergarten.
Okay, so what are you doing? They're going to school? Are you homeschooling or what?
Kind of a little bit of both. The kindergartner goes to school 5 times a week for 3 hours. And then my 5th grader goes to school Monday, Tuesday for 7 hours and then works from home Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's very confusing.
What school does the 5th grader go to?
They're both at Flowertown.
Yeah, okay, good. Good. Well, looks like we're gonna get possibly might get some new school board members. I don't know. It's got 9 people running for 3 seats.
I know.
I think Brooks Moore is a good one. I've known him for years, but
Yeah.
there's only 3 slots, so we'll see.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, sure will. By the way, if you guys are looking for a decent African-American candidate, vote for James Weaver. He's a sharp young man, anti-political. He's a team player. He's president of the District 2 Foundation that raises money on the outside for the school district. He's president of ECPI College, in the military, officer in the National Guard, 42 years old, not a troublemaker. He wants to be a part of the solution. I've talked with a lot of people about him. I think Francis Townsend is posting an ad for him on Facebook, and I'm posting one. I talked with Ricky about him, and most people I talk to about him seem to know him. He's been on that foundation for 5 years. He's got 2 kids in the school district, 2 small kids. So it's a crowded field, though. I don't know. You got 9 people and 3 running. 9 people running and 3 spots is going to be tough.
I know.
This should be a short meeting, right, Bob?
As Lenny said, the last famous words.
This will be a short meeting.
Uh,
Every time we say it'll be short, it's long.
must be the town's clerk's fault, Bob.
It probably is.
She's too good with that wordsmithing.
Hey, Mary, if that link still says offline, is it online? Because people are going to be asking about that, I think.
Yeah, give me about
Okay.
3,
Trust me, they'll be asking.
1. It's up now. Just tell people to refresh their page.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right, so I need to do the app.
Is Ricky on there?
I don't think he's on yet.
I hear him.
He's this big. Got surgery.
Hey, Aaron.
Good morning. How are you? Kim, good to see you.
I have no symptoms. I'm feeling fine.
Did you get tested?
And the other people that were with me, they got tested because they had to because of their job, and they were negative. I have no symptoms. And actually, it turns out the person that had COVID, she was already like in week 2, and she wasn't having any more symptoms at the time. So, but she tested positive, but that's because she was at the tail end of her, whatever. So
Did they give her
anyway.
did they give her any treatments or medication?
No, because when they first tested her, it came back negative, and they said she just had a sinus infection. So they just gave her antibiotics, and within 24 hours, she was feeling excellent. But this was like,
see, that's what prompted me to take the test.
yeah.
I had a sinus infection.
Ah.
And so when I called my doctor, he says, I think you got a sinus infection. He said, just to be on the safe side, just go ahead and take the test. So
Yeah.
my test came back negative, and they gave me
Right.
antibiotics. Sinus infection went away, but I took antibiotics for mine.
Oh, so yeah, she's fine now, but tomorrow will be day 10 for me, that I was exposed to her. So
Good.
I figured I would be showing symptoms by now. So.
Okay.
I got to get me some more coffee.
I understand. Started to tell Kim maybe she'd put that mask on to protect somebody. Yes, sir. The old adage is so true. There's no place like America. Right, Walter?
That's right. I didn't catch what you said, but you're right.
There's no place like America. Yes,
I heard you, Aaron. I heard you. You never know what goes through these.
Oh, look who's got a mask on.
That's right. I heard what you're saying.
The only thing that mask is doing is interfering with your good looks, huh?
You see that dark spot in there, Bob?
Yeah, it's working.
Is that a book?
Either it's working or you got a slight nosebleed.
Maybe it's something else.
Yeah.
All right, we have to start the stream a little early before the meeting starts, so y'all will be streaming. Just to give you a heads up. In about a
Yeah.
minute.
No
Do you
more
have a way-
joking.
Hey, Lenny, Lenny,
Yep, I'm here.
do you have a way of determining how many residents or interested parties streamline our meetings?
I believe the YouTube channel will have some statistics and stuff, so we can look at that as well as the Zoom. I don't know if Zoom will give it to me. The YouTube channel will do that, I think. So I'll look at that.
Yeah, I just wondered.
That would
Beth-
be nice
Beth,
if
do
we
you
could
have
actually
any
see that.
emails to read for this meeting or whatever? Beth,
Yes?
do you have any emails to read for this meeting
No,
from citizens?
no, sir.
Okay, good. So it should be a short meeting then.
Good morning, Aaron. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Counselor. How you
Thank
doing?
you.
Good?
Do I have what?
Oh,
I was
sorry.
just asking Aaron if he could
No.
hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear everybody. I see Bob's on mute. Lenny's on mute. Mary Edwards is on mute. Everybody else I should be able to hear.
Yeah, I'm on.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
On this pretty Monday morning.
Well, I tell you what, it's great to be alive, isn't it?
It is.
Morning.
Hello.
Morning.
Anybody heard from Terry?
I haven't.
He's trying to get on.
Yeah, he's on, Mayor.
He's on? Terry, you
Yeah, he's
on?
on. We don't see him, but we see his. Yeah, there he is.
I'm on.
All right.
Hello?
What time is it? We've got a few more minutes yet.
8:57.
Yeah.
When you leave this meeting, Ricky, you're going to be in your office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to stop by. I got a little thing I need to talk to you about.
All right. Come on by.
Will do.
Someone's got some nice music. Oh.
Thanks, Kim.
Terry, you in bed?
100%. He's not even dressed yet.
I just don't even, I can't even.
I don't see a pheasant dangling around his neck.
That was yesterday, getting ready to be today. There's the
Damn.
pheasant up there.
You got stuffed already.
I guess we better wait on the bell because we got a couple of phones, three different phones in here. All of them got a different number on them and it's not 9 o'clock yet.
There you go.
All right, we got one that says 9 o'clock, so we'll get the meeting started. I'd like to call the council meeting to order. And before we get started, I'm not gonna apologize. There's the bell. Let me let that thing ring because it's loud. It's loud here in Jill's office. Won't take long to ring 9 times. I'd like to let everybody know that's listening in this morning that the reason we're having this meeting at 9 o'clock, we're not running from anybody or hiding from anybody. We're not cowards. The reason we're having this meeting this morning is we've got several of our council meeting that are quarantined from the virus. And we got 3 council members that are out of town, scattered all over the country. And it was the only time we could get together to have a meeting where we could get this mask ordinance. We could deal with this mask ordinance this week before it ran out. And but anyway, it was the only way we could make it work. We are praying for those that are suffering with this virus, and certainly praying for our councilmen that have come in contact with it. But it was after facing these few things is the reason why we decided to have this thing on Monday morning. It wasn't to avoid hearing from the folks that want to bring their issues to town council. That wasn't the reason to have it, even though I know that's what y'all think. But anyway, you have to think what you want to think. All I can do is tell you what the facts are. And we will have another council meeting where we'll have it open for y'all's comments, just like we did before. So at this time, we'll move on to item 2, consideration of an emergency ordinance regarding face coverings.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve this emergency temporary ordinances as written.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor and a second to continue this ordinance as it's written.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would move that to amend the ordinance as written, to change the expiration date from November 12th, I believe, at midnight, or whatever it is. I know it's a date in November, mid-November, I believe, but to change the date of expiration of this to midnight on October 31st.
We have a second on Mr. McIntosh's motion to change the date to October. If not, that motion fails. And any discussion on Mr. Bailey's motion?
Yes, I'm going to vote against this. I think everyone knows how I feel. I really think that most of our businesses are free already to put a mask mandate for their business as people come in. And I just don't feel, once again, that government should have a say in this. I mean, as far as our town, that we should let each of our businesses decide what they want to do. So I will be voting against this.
Ma'am, any more discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I would just say that I'd also vote against extending it, particularly to November 12th. I was prepared to extend it on a month-by-month basis, but to extend it for nearly 45 days when at this point, the number of cases in our area has been very stable. There's no real distinction between the number of cases and the 29483 and 29485 zip codes that are under at least a partial mask mandate in those areas of, say, unincorporated Berkeley County that have never had a mask mandate. So, I was willing to vote to extend it for 30 days. I'm not willing to extend it for almost 45. And the reality is, and I don't think the word has gotten out very well to our citizens, but the reality of what we did 20 days ago, almost 20 days ago, and what we're doing today is we are putting a mask mandate in place for ourselves, for town-owned buildings, but also for grocery stores and pharmacies. And while the logic of that is sound, that folks that are vulnerable, whether because of their pre-existing or underlying conditions or their age, they have to be able to get to grocery stores and pharmacies. So I support that notion that there's a distinction. But the reality is most of our grocery stores and pharmacies are corporate owned. They're going to have corporate mask mandates going into 2021. We're really only requiring a handful of businesses in town that are privately owned or locally owned to have this mask mandate, when frankly, if they have any local competitors in unincorporated Berkeley County or unincorporated Dorchester County, their competitors aren't under the same restrictions. And I just think that's unfortunate.
Any more discussion?
One of the things that's interesting about the numbers coming down is the percentage of people tested testing positive is going up. Most of the experts look for less than 10% testing positive, and the papers this morning, South Carolina is up to a little over 13%. So I think there's some questions as to the results that we're getting to and the people who are being tested positive, et cetera. But I think we need to continue it because we're not really out of the woods yet with this thing. And there's a lot of stuff that we still know about this virus. So I think it gives people an opportunity to stay healthy as long as we can.
I agree with Mr. Brown on that. And with regard to the expiration date, if we get really, really lucky and the virus significantly reduces, we can always call another special council meeting and terminate this emergency ordinance. If we do it before our next regularly scheduled council meeting, then we're going to be looking at another special meeting. And I think it's better to go ahead and if there's no change, to have any potential extension done at the regular council meeting to give public input at that time.
I agree. I'd rather have it at the regular.
Well, with that being said, I'd like to see, and I guess I would make this into a motion, that we extend it only until our next meeting, which is next week, correct? And at our scheduled meeting on Thursday, and we readdress it at that time.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion now on the floor that we extend it to our next regular meeting, council meeting, in a second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I think extending this thing for that shorter period of time.
By the way, that would have to be an amendment to the original motion.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was her motion.
To extend that, yeah. I thought it was also, but assuming that was a motion and had a second, I think extending that shorter period of time is sort of an exercise of futility, because we all know that we're not going to have any drastic change between now and our meeting in October. If we do, we could call a special meeting. But I think the November meeting is going to give us an opportunity to wait and see how it trends. It's going to take more than 1 or 2 days. We're going to need to get like the past rolling average of 10 days prior to the meeting to see if we've got a real change or not. And I don't think anything of that nature can happen between now and the October meeting. It can happen between now and the November meeting.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think we ought to have another meeting on the mask ordinance you know, in a week and a half at the next council meeting. I don't think that'll do any good. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Mr. Mayor. I think extending it to November 12th gives us an experimental look at it to see if, in fact, we should reconsider amending it or stopping the mask ordinance. But to have that short period of time, you can't really assess your objective, and so that's why I think we should take it to November 12th.
Well, I'll have to disagree because we've already extended it up until now, and we have statistics up to yesterday. And so I do disagree. I think just extending it through next Thursday at the next town meeting would be adequate.
Mr. Mayor, I'll just state, I mean, I understand that next Thursday, October 8th is a pretty short window. But, you know, I do think that we're all trying to make sure that we are not being irresponsible in the face of this virus. And we obviously want to minimize the virus in our community. But if we go back to when this first emergency mask ordinance was enacted, it was one of the last couple of days of June. I think it was the 29th or 30th of June. It went into effect on July 1. At that point, we were fast approaching 1,000 active cases in Dorchester County. Today, we're well under 300. For a brief moment, we got under 200. At that point, the infection rate, the percentage of tests that were positive was over 20%. We have gotten down as low as 10%, and it even had a couple of days, I believe, under 10%. Obviously, 5% is what they tell us we need to no longer have an epidemic. But you know, if we're serious about potentially having a special meeting, assuming that Ms. Gordon-Smith's motion that I've seconded fails, if we're serious about having a second meeting, a special meeting to potentially shorten this thing for November 12th, we really need to come to some sort of agreement about what the end game is. The end game can't be no cases in the county, or it can't even be less than 50 in the county. We're going to have cases into 2021. We're going to have cases after a virus after a vaccination is approved, a vaccine is approved. So, you know, it's just a reality that well into 2021, maybe for all of 2021, we're going to have at all times 50, 100 cases in Dorchester County, 50, 100 cases in Berkeley County. That's going to be the situation. So we need to figure out what it's going to take to get a majority of this council to get the government out of the mask business.
I agree with Bill that we should at some point develop a formula where we can end this thing. I also agree we can't continue it until the last person standing that no longer has coronavirus. That's probably never happened, but I think what that figure is up for debate. I've got some real concerns about using the percent of positive test to do anything. Nobody can tell anybody to get tested. People get tested with no symptoms. People get tested because they have symptoms. People get tested because they attend a certain school. They test everybody. I don't see how that's getting a random cross section of the community. I think what we've got to look at are the numbers of cases we've got, and it may take a while to get there, but I think to use the number when the governor imposed the lockdown might be an appropriate, reasonable way to do it. That's a pretty low number, but it was high enough where he mandated a lockdown, which we all try to avoid. So I think we can discuss that further at some point between now and the November meeting. Get some more expert advice, and we might have about when to stop this thing. But I don't think we're close enough now to make any decision on it.
Thank you, Walter. Anybody else? If not, I'll call for the vote on the amendment. All in favor of Ms. Kimmer's amendment, signify by raising your right hand and voting aye.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed, signify by doing the same thing.
Nay.
Nay. Okay, the amendment's voted down. Now we vote on the original motion. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand, voting aye.
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 The other ones will vote likewise. Nay.
Nay.
Ayes carry.
Aye.
We need to read that ordinance, GW.
Everyone that has a copy of it.
Yes, sir. Well,
It's-
I do.
it's-
Does everybody have a
Yes.
If everybody received a copy, read it, and it's going to be published on our website, I don't see having, we have to go read it.
And Mr. Mayor, I would just state again that the only change from what's in place now is the expiration date, that it goes from, instead of expiring, I think Wednesday night at midnight, it now would expire November 12th at midnight. But the only businesses in town that members of the public are required by us, by the government, wear masks are grocery stores and pharmacies. The reality is business owners have always had the ability and always will have the ability to mandate masks on their own private property.
There wasn't any question there, was it?
Well, yes, there actually was. We were told initially that there was an argument made initially in June that we had to do this because business owners needed us to. And, I think business owners wanted us to, but they didn't need us to.
Are you suggesting that something else needs to be added to the ordinance?
No. A shorter expiration date, but I lost on that.
Okay. We'll let it stand as is then. It'll expire on November, what's the date, GW?
Well,
November 12th.
11:59.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that we now adjourn.
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes. Aye. Raise your right hand. Okay, meeting's adjourned.
I'll be by in a little